Hey, Aries, this is your look at January 2021. My name is Katie Sweetman. I'm with Empowering Astrology, empoweringastrology.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and even on Instagram. So, this is again your look at the astrology of January 2021. And it's important to understand that no month ever is sort of this standalone in astrology. It's part of a bigger story. And as we go into 2021, we're stepping not just into a new year, we're stepping into this sort of bigger chapter of time. You know, right before the start of the new year in December, we had two planets change signs. We had Saturn went to Aquarius on December 17th, and then 2 days later, Jupiter went into Aquarius as well. And you're thinking, Aries, I'm not in Aquarius. Well, here's the thing, astrology is about telling time, and it's like two major planets in your clock changed hours. So as you go into January, these two hands on the clock are pointing towards community, friendships, looking towards the future, social connection, and building alliances in 2021. And maybe friendships are a little bit of a rocky area right now, because when Saturn changes signs, or it's as if it changes a room in your house, and now it's in a different room and it's looking over everything, and Saturn is now testing your friendships. It's testing your alliances, like who's there for you? Who's going to build for the future and who's not? So if something around friendships is coming up, just a little bit of a heads up, but that's an area of your life that you're actually going to be doing a lot of work in for the next 2 years. So that's sort of this broader thing that's happening. The other thing that's happening is as we go into the new year, 2021 is the year that two parallel stories sort of start to converge. Not sort of, but they actually converge, and they actually converge in a way that creates some friction. So now that Saturn is in Aquarius, we've got another planet that also switched signs, although it did it a couple of years ago. That's Uranus. It's been hanging out in Taurus since March of 2019, almost 2 years ago. And Taurus is your money sign. So maybe when you look back, you could see a lot of changes, even already, in how you earn a living, how you make your money, what you spend it on, a sense of resource, security, stability. You know, that's a part of your life that you're needing to completely reinvent. There's a lot of new beginning happening in that part of your life, or at least has been the past 2 years. So now that Saturn has moved out of your career house, your career room in your house, it's now looking at friends, it's now looking at the future, it's now looking at community. But these two planets are making what's called a square throughout 2021. So you're going to see some sort of friction in your life between maybe the direction you're taking, or the people, the alliances, your social networks, your groups, and value, your self-worth. So keep that in mind, because this brings me to Mars. Mars is your planet. Mars, after 6 months in Aries, it had a retrograde for 2 months from September to November 2020, finally moves into Taurus. Moves into Taurus on January 6th. And Taurus, if you were listening a few moments ago, is a sign that Uranus has been in. It's almost like Uranus has been in a certain room of your house for the past 2 years, sort of making things a bit chaotic or interesting, or showing you what is even possible. Like maybe you had a very different relationship with money 2 years ago. Now you have a very different relationship with money now. So Mars joins the mix, and in a way, like this story that's been sort of brewing the background now comes to a head, and it's very personal for you because Mars is your planet. So it may mean that in January of 2021, you're seeing some changes in income, you're seeing some changes in how you earn a living, you're moving forward with some bigger changes that you've been doing the past couple of years. Maybe it just needed that next big burst of initiation. So this is not necessarily a bad thing, but I'm going to say that's different for each and every sign. January's astrology is not easy. And I'm just saying that just to be transparent, there's a lot of major things happening. Your planet changes signs, and when it does, it starts to meet up with Saturn. It makes a square to Saturn on January 13th. Like a week later, then Mars makes what's called a conjunction to Uranus on January 20th. These could be 2 days where you're really feeling some friction, a push, something else going on. That said, we also have a Capricorn new moon on January 23rd. And Capricorn is your career sign. It kind of represents the top of your chart. It's your place in the world, it's the title after your name, it's the ambitions that you reach for, and it's the responsibilities that you hold. So you spent 2 years, 2018, 2019, or 3 years, 2018, 2019, 2020, really trying to answer a simple question. What do you want to be when you grow up? What sort of title do you want after your name? How do you want the world to see you? What direction do you want to take your life in? So even though that story sort of went to the back burner, so to speak, because Saturn left this part of your chart on December 17th, it's as if January is a little bit of an echo, a little bit of an epilogue of some sort. We're in Capricorn season. Sun is at the top of your chart. It's about your place in the world. So a new moon, it's a new beginning, some sort of career new beginning for you around January 13th. The thing that's a little interesting is that this new moon is exactly conjunct Pluto. So there's something about this new moon that represents a very powerful new beginning in your professional life, a very powerful new beginning in the direction you take, how people see you, the title after your name. And it's important to understand that whatever this new beginning is for you, in a way, threads back many years, going back to the start of 2008. And even, moving forward to the, some part of the story that was very present in 2018. So if something does happen in your professional life, it's not this sort of one-off standalone event. It's either been a long time coming, or you've been planning for it, or it's an overdue change, or there's a need to do things very differently, because Pluto speaks about power. Pluto speaks about how you need to find your power in the world. And Pluto also shows that when we are not in our power, other people will happily be in the power for us. So really kind of keep that in mind if you're dealing with power issues at work, if you're trying to find your voice, your place in the world this month. But do keep in mind, Aries, that you're in a little bit of a tight spot in January and going even into February, because a lot of these changes that you've been making the past couple of years, 2-3 years, they're now coming to the head in some way. There's some sort of friction between an old life and a new life. And how do you resolve that friction? How do you build something new, knowing that it may mean like having to upend something from the past? When we get to the end of the month, we have a Leo full moon. It's going to be at 9 degrees of Leo, but it is right on, it's making what's called a square to Uranus. It's making a square to Saturn. It's making, a square to your Mars as well. So you might find that the end of the month is also really putting a lot of pressure on you to change. So, new year, new you. You probably wanted the horoscope that said, yeah, Katie, you're going to go to the beach. You're going to relax. You're going to not have to worry about anything. But I wish I could say differently, but this is just, I think for everybody, there's these 2 key areas of our life in January that now need a lot of attention, need some sort of resolution, but that friction, that pressure will also give you the motivation, because squares sort of have the energy of Mars, will give you the motivation to build something new. So this could actually be a silver lining in all of this. But that said, do keep all of this in mind. These dates, Mars goes into Taurus on January 6th, Mars squares Saturn, this kind of pressure to take responsibility and this sort of new area of your life that's starting to come into focus on the 13th of January. You've got this very powerful Capricorn new moon on the 13th of January as well. Just the next day, Uranus turns direct in Taurus, which is sort of this lighting a fire a little bit. Things might be a little shaky for everybody in the middle of January. And then Mars, your planet, meets up with Uranus on the 20th of January. And this is a time for you to really have a powerful breakthrough and awakening, leaving the past behind. But you have to have the courage and the bravery, which I know you do, Aries, to forge forward. And then by the end of the month, this full moon that's on the 28th is going to really push some buttons. So be well and be safe, Aries, and just kind of continue. I'll do my updates, my daily updates on Empowering Astrology. And of course, you can watch my weekly live videos also on Empowering Astrology on YouTube, IGTV, or on Facebook Live. So talk to you later, Aries. Bye.